You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Hey, guess what day it is?
Hump Day!
Hump Day!
It's Hump Day!
Hey, Mike! Mike!
Guess what day it is?
Hey, Camel! Guess what day it is?
It's not even Wednesday.
Let it go, Phil. If you're a camel, you put up with this all the time. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Okay.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Good morning, everyone. This is Walter on iWalter. Welcome to me. It is Wednesday, 3/21. I'm starting a little bit later than I wanted to. On this Wednesday morning, September 9th, 2015. It's my mom's birthday today, so I had to go run over and find a supermarket that was open to get her something. I did buy her something online, but she's not going to get it until the day after her birthday. So I wish my mother a happy birthday on this September 9th. She is now 76. It's hard to believe that. It means I'm getting older too, though, unfortunately. There was a few things I guess I could talk about. I actually got in the mail finally. I was actually bought it from New York, used, when I could have bought it new for the same freaking price, so it really pissed me off. You're probably wondering, what are you talking about? Well, I bought Star Wars, the original one. It was released on DVD, the original one, uncut. It was a limited edition. Unfortunately, again, it was only on DVD. And that being said, they released it just for a limited time. So I'm trying to adjust my screen, my windscreen. So hope it doesn't mess up my mic. Yeah, it finally came today, though. Finally came in the mail. So the thing was, I could have got it from California, and it would have taken just as long, and would have been brand new. Now, I do try to buy stuff used when I can. This guy said there's a scratch, which there is. But thank goodness the scratch is on the disc with the remake, because they put it was a double disc set on DVD. And one is the one that Lucas actually put his hands on and changed everything around and added stuff that he felt compelled to do so. I'm watching in the background right now, trying to look for the scenes. But yeah, this one is really, there was a second disc, and it was as a bonus, was the original Star Wars. It was like $20. I don't know if it was that expensive when it first came out, but that's the only one I really don't want to see really, re-edited and those extra scenes put in. I just don't like that because that's not the way I remember it. So anyway, the bonus disc is the one you want. If you can find the DVD version, it says, it's a theatrical release, you want the bonus disc. That's the one it's on. Because I didn't know that. I started watching the main disc, and all that is, it's just a movie that, basically, Lucas wasn't happy with, so he just basically butchered it to death. The one you want is the bonus, and he made sure that you wouldn't want to even watch the way it was originally shot. So he basically, because I have a widescreen TV set, I got a 42-inch TV set, he made sure that it's in a little freaking box. And it was like, okay, if you want the original film, here you go. Like if that's what it felt like. Like, okay, if you want the original film, here you go, and just threw it at you. So he made sure to make it as shitty as possible. So when you see it, you're not going to be happy. It was like, well, you know what? You're not going to stop me from watching the way it was originally, the way I saw it on TV when it was on cable and the way I saw it in the movie theaters beforehand. So I really don't care. I'll stretch it out. I'll freaking stretch the thing. But it is in widescreen. Unfortunately, if you watch it in the regular dimensions, and most people nowadays, they do have, widescreen TV sets. I think there's very few that have 4x3 TV sets any longer. So unfortunately, you will have to stretch it out. But it'll be worth it. And it'll look letterboxed. And I don't know why he couldn't have done that. And yes, it actually does say, because I bought the VHS tapes, now I'm regretting doing that, but it actually does say on there, Star Wars, there is no New Hope whatsoever. This is the actual real deal, folks. This is the real freaking deal. This is the one he put in the movie theaters. So is it worth the $20 then? Absolutely, because you can't find that anywhere. So he did release it. He was just really pissed in doing so. So that's why people now are asking, you want all three of the movies? They're charging, people that own them are charging like, I think, $200 for all three movies. Because when they say they are the theatrical release, they're not kidding. This is the real deal again. There is no New Hope, no nothing. So that, but he made sure again that it looks like total garbage, that you would be pissed off and say, oh, that's okay, I'll just watch the one with the extra scenes even though I don't like them. Well, now that Disney owns them, they're going to find a way to make money, and maybe they will re-enhance them, because it's funny because they made sure to not even, kind of tweak it a little bit where it could have been. They made sure it looked like it was dug up out of a dirt pile. But you know what? Go ahead, Lucas, and do that. You don't own the rights anymore, so let's see what happens in the future. But I am really happy. I was at first was like, crap, I got ripped off. I got the same movie I have on Blu-ray. No, I don't. I actually have the real, on DVD, it's definitely going to be a lot better than when it was on VHS, because VHS, you're only talking resolutions. I got to figure that out again, because I can't remember, so I'm going to look this up. There was VHS with high definition, but those were really hard to find, and I don't think Star Wars was one of them. So I got to look. VHS resolution. The modern day digital technology, NTS VHS, is roughly equivalent to 333 times 480. So yes, that is really low. And it says it's 40 by 480, chroma resolution 333 by 480. But you're talking like basically dog shit. So, it says all normal VHS tapes are 352 by 240 resolution. So, there is definitely a big difference. Excuse me, I keep on belching. There is definitely a big difference between VHS and even DVD. Now, a lot of people, when I first went from VHS to Laserdisc, because Laserdisc was supposed to be the happening thing, because it was literally a laser, that was actually not much better. It was actually what they used to do was just basically whatever went on VHS, they put on a Laserdisc. It didn't have, the resolution was any different. It was just as bad. And you paid more money for the Laserdisc. And it was cool because you didn't have to worry about tapes getting chewed up. But at the same time, the resolution was still dog shit. So, oh, by the way, it is Hump Day. That's why I played that. I couldn't figure out. I was like, okay, I'm getting a late start. What should I do as my opening monologue? So I picked the Hump Day commercial from Geico. I hope they don't mind. It was funny. I thought so. At least somebody did. That would be one person, me. What was I going to say? Yesterday was officially Star Trek was their anniversary for their 49th year. Well, I hate to say it, Doctor Who got them beat by, actually Doctor Who had them beat more than, technically they celebrated the 50th anniversary last year, I guess because of the cancellations and stuff on the show. But technically, Doctor Who started November 18th, November 23rd, 1963, and Star Trek came out in 1966. So that's kind of weird, but, they're only a year apart, I guess, because, again, they were off, Doctor Who was off for a couple of years. Well, I hate to say it, Star Trek was off a lot longer, but they're counting, from when it originally had started until today's date as being their 49th anniversary, but that's kind of cheating, in my opinion. At least Doctor Who was being a little bit more honorable about the truth. It was funny, and there was an article I actually posted on my Facebook page. There was other things I wanted to talk about. But it was from the Patriot Post, a voice of the Central Liberty, Unemployment Labor Day. So I wanted to make a joke about that because I hate to say it, and they did it for me, so it kind of saved me the trip, so to speak, on this webpage. Not the same way I was going to be sarcastic, but I was going to say Labor Day yesterday for most people is basically the women who are unemployed basically going into labor, or the deadbeats not working who got the women pregnant. And Labor Day for those people are the women going into labor again. That was going to be my joke. I totally forgot that one, and I'm saying it. I know it wasn't very funny, but I'm sorry. When you have, but anyway, I found this article, and it's basically was a political cartoon on top, and it's two basically street bums, and one says out of work, another one has they have these cards or whatever, those you hold up, oh, I'm homeless or something, give me money kind of things, those things. But one guy is holding up a board that says out of work. It's a political cartoon. The other one says he crossed out of work and he put gave up looking for work. So it says the government no longer counts me as unemployed, but I got to tell you, I still feel like it. The government is no longer counts me as being unemployed, but I got to tell you, it still feels like it. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, this article basically said what Rush had said the other day, but it gives the stats that Rush was talking about. I'm going to kind of just go through it really quick because Rush was pretty long. I'm going to say it what I'm reading. Friday's jobs reports has some good headline numbers. Like they tell you the non-truth. They who could argue with 5.1% unemployment, which is not true, but the underlying story isn't so hot. So basically, okay, maybe I better read this from the beginning. It says, as most Americans are grilling in the backyard to celebrate Labor Day, there isn't much Labor Day to go around as well as we would like. Basically, yes, it's Labor Day, but it's not the way we would like to celebrate it. In this weekly address of Labor Day weekend, Barack Obama boasted about the longest streak of job creation on record. Indeed, Friday's job report has some good headline numbers. Who could argue about 5.1% unemployment? But the underlying story isn't so hot. We noted that Friday, black unemployment is at 9.5%, which increased by 0.4% from July. And also, and as has been true throughout Obama's recovery, much of the decline in the overall unemployment rate was caused by people leaving the workforce. The labor force participation rate remained at 62.6%. Let me reread that. The labor force participation rate is at 62.6%. That's where I came up with that 60-some percent. The lowest level since 1977. And there are record 94 million Americans not in the workforce. Now, folks, our country is only made up of about 2 million people, not even. Well, out of the 2 million people in this country, 94 of them are out of work. And it's not even 2 million. It's around that, a ballpark figure. As for the gross domestic product, or GDP, while the second quarter growth was a seemingly healthy 3.7%, the number could be revised down closer to the first quarter numbers. The Daily Signal reports gross domestic income grew at just 0.6% after 0.4% growth in the first quarter. The GDI, which is gross domestic income, is a more accurate measure of the health of the economy. When the government revised the GDP, which is gross domestic product, figures as more data comes in, it tends to get revised towards the initial GDI, which again is the domestic gross domestic income. Figures as more data comes in, it tends to be revised toward, So they're basically playing numbers with the numbers of games with the numbers of people really working and making it sound better, but it really is not. Obama turned his address into a call for a budget from Congress that will support working Americans and strengthen our middle class. Naturally, he wants investments in the same old stuff: infrastructure, schools, and research. All that's all fine things, but when 94 million Americans aren't working, this is what this article is saying, and aren't paying taxes to support that budget, Obama's promises and braggadocio rings hollow. So he's like wants to put more money into infrastructures and schooling by raising taxes, but there's not enough people working to raise the taxes on. The people that are working are be paying, making less money than people who are not working eventually. And eventually this whole infrastructure is just going to collapse. That's what they're trying to state, though. So that was that article, and it was. I know I did a really bad job of reading it, but honestly, that's really that's very alarming. So, talking about budgets, I saw this today. By the way, I'm going to go into this first before I go to my spiel about work. This was Celebrity Net Worth. I saw this and I could not believe it. Howard Stern's net worth. Everybody loves Howard Stern, mostly. A lot of people don't like him, but I think there's more who do. And why do I say that? Because Howard Stern's net worth is $580 million. Howard Stern's salary is $95 million. So it says in this article, it's by CelebrityNetWorth.com once again, Howard Stern's net worth. Howard Stern is an American radio and television personality who has a net worth of $580 million and an annual salary of $95. Howard Stern has a reputation for being outspoken and controversial through The Howard Stern Show, a naturally syndicated radio program. He touches on wide-ranging topics in uncensored dialogue and interviews. I kind of try to do the same. Howard Stern's unspoken style earned him repeated fines by the FCC for indecency between 1986 and 2005. Stern began his radio career in college at Boston University, and then he made a professional debut at WNT in Newton, Massachusetts in 1975. See, I remember Stern from being in Philly. He really was, and it was actually I remember actually him in D.C. because my brother was going to college there at the time, and then he got kicked out of D.C., and then he ended up in New York, which he is still at. Anyway, Stearns worked at for various radio stations before eventually landing at WXRK in New York City, where he worked for 20 years before switching to Sirius Satellite Radio in 2005. On Sirius, Howard enjoys total uncensored free speech outside of the FCC's grasp. During Stern's time at WXRK, he attracted peak audiences to close to 20 million across 60 markets in both the United States and Canada. So that's pretty impressive, folks. It goes on to say that Howard Stern's net worth, once again, more than just radio, Stern signed a $1 million advance contract with Simon & Schuster in 1993 to publish his first bibliographical. Yes, I messed that up. I realize. No one here to help me. Matt, where are you? Book, Private Parts, which I did buy and I did get it autographed, but I sold it to my one friend, which was released on October 7th, 1993. God, that's hard to believe how long ago that was I got that book signed. The book first printed and sold 225,000 copies within hours of it going on sale, which is really impressive, becoming the fastest selling title in Schuster's history. A film adaptation of the book, Private Parts, with Howard Stern playing himself in the title role, was released on March 7th, 1997, and topped the box office in its opening weekend with a gross of $14.6 million. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to remember who this movie was about. That's pretty impressive for him. Private Parts sold a total of 41.2 million in movie tickets, which is really impressive. Again, you got to remember, this is a radio personality. Stern continues to work for Sirius and is currently the highest paid radio figure in the United States. He also earns $15 million per year as a judge on the hit NBC reality show America's Got Talent. You have to forgive me for a minute, folks. It's getting really hot in my room now. So I'm going to try to grab some soda. And I am not going to try to pause because I do that way too often. I personally think Stern looks really good for his age. By the way, I was making a joke with my one friend, Matt, and Matt, but I was telling him, I said, our job is just starting to go on an avalanche, and actually quicker than I actually expected. My dad gave me a heads up. He says, yeah, when they stop delivering things to where you work, like shipments to your building, that's usually a bad sign that they're going to eventually close down. Well, that's actually happened. It's starting to happen. So I was mentioning to my friend Matt anyhow. I said, yeah, well, two of the girls, their next jobs, one is a lab technician and one is basically what I do. She's considered basically a generalized worker. I said to my friend Matt, well, both their next jobs, and I'm not even kidding, will probably either be at Hooters or at one of these strip joints that he enjoys going to. And he said, well, that's not that bad. And I said, well, they actually have the bodies because both of them got breast implants. And at least one of them, if not both, had pretty decent heinies, asses. So that might be in their favor. But as actually getting another job, well, if they don't sell their bodies like they've been doing persistently at work, they're going to be shit out of luck. So, hey, good luck on your next job when you start having to wear a G-string or probably nothing at all and showing off those nice breast implants to a bunch of horny guys at some strip joint, because that is going to be their next job. So anyway, that being said, yeah, it's starting to happen. Things are starting to collapse when I go to work. And yes, absolutely, they stopped kind of delivering things to our building as much. Like the bosses are clueless. I'm not that stupid. When they stop delivering things you need to make your product, yeah, that's a dead ringer. Yeah, it's the phase one is starting to happen. Actually, phase two at this point. So I had a belch and drink. I'm multitasking that way. If I belch and drink, I'm doing two things, and I'm actually doing a podcast. So, hey, that's three things. So, you know what? I want to try to get this ready for tonight. I'm trying to put in for my friend. Yeah. I'm probably not going to get the right one. Anyway, yeah, it was funny. Sorry about that. If I can't find him, I'm just going to let it go. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just wasting too much time. Yeah, I'll just do I was trying to find my friend Matt. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting because we were off for 4 days. Most people, when you come back, like, you be ambitious to go back to work. Well, that is not the case where I work. Trust me, these people are just pathetic when it comes to this stuff, because you come back to work and the first thing they want to do is just kind of like have a good old time. And it's like, you kind of got to give up on that. You got to actually act a little responsible, because this is just fuel for the fire where I work. And yes, we will be out of a job if you continue just to be so irresponsible and just so naive to the fact what you're doing. But they're not going to learn until their job is completely demolished or gone. My one friend kind of scared me tonight because she said, I heard by next year we have a contract coming up, and she basically said, well, I said, I heard that we might be going on strike next year. And she says, well, that could very well possibly happen. It was like, she's usually optimistic. I'm the pessimist. She's the optimist, my friend. So anyway, she said it could even be worse, because if our union pushes the company too much that I work for, she said, my dad knew what it was. We might go on a lockout where the company might just say, you know what? We're basically tired of your shit, so we're going to lock you out. And that means we're out of jobs. They could lock the doors on us because it's a secure they're a secure plant site that I work at. And we won't be able to be allowed back in ever. And we're all basically screwed when that happens. So I'm just hoping. She really scared me by saying it. My dad says, oh, yeah, I've heard of that before. A lockout? Yeah, that could happen. And it's like, okay, so you heard of it, and I don't like it. And she actually is the person who, kind of keeps me grounded when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, she's saying, oh, yeah, that could happen. You could get, we can all get locked out of our job if they keep on pushing things the way they do. So not very cool. Not cool at all. Yeah, and again, I kind of look at her to say, okay, yeah, you're kind of over-exaggerating. This time she did not say that, and that really scared me. So, anyway, yeah, that really bothered me tonight. And you got these people who are just so naive to the fact that what they're doing is just really pushing buttons. And we live in a country right now that everyone is losing their jobs. And the reason they're losing them, though, is because, nobody wants to work anymore. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look for my friend Matt's information, and I see him, but I don't see his new link. I'll have to tell him about that. I'll figure it out. So yeah, this is really bad. People aren't taking this stuff seriously. And that being said, when you think that, okay, if you push yourself that much that you're gonna be out of a job, that you would kind of say, okay, this we better wise up a little bit. No, not at all. All right, I'm gonna look for my friend. I might take a pause tonight just to do my friend, because I know I lost my article I wanted to read next. I read about Stern already. There was something else I wanted to mention. Let's see if I can dig it up again. Oh, by the way, I don't know, but this might be too long for a lot of people. I'm not that interested, but Steve Irwin, I think his name was, he had a daughter. Steve Irwin was the guy who was on that show, and he got himself killed by that Australian guy. He got killed by some type of stingray. That was it. And his daughter's all grown up. She's actually pretty hot. She's got big boobies too. Not that that's important. I think her name is Bindi Irvin. heartwarming tribute to her father is a real inspiration. So this was on actually moviepilot.com. And I guess she's following her father's footsteps, but it looked like that she might be on Dancing with the Stars, too. I know my parents watched that. She looks not bad. You know, she's got a nice body, but yeah, it says, will you tune into the next season of Dancing with the Stars? I'm wondering if she's going to be on there. But it looks like his daughter, though, is following in his footsteps. It's kind of scary, too, because that guy is not much older than me, and his daughter, when she used to be on the show with him, I guess he had a son and a daughter. Those kids were only like, they were really small. They were only like 5 or 6 or something, and now they're all grown up. And it's just hard to believe, like, what happened to the time since he passed away. But, yeah. It's a pretty good article you want to read on Movie Pilot. And by the way, when I was talking about yesterday, about that horrible film I had seen, I convinced myself so much that, like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I was mentioning it, because I was listening to my show again from yesterday. That one called Unfriended, that, like, I actually convinced myself, surprisingly, that maybe I better go check that out again. I'm not even kidding. I actually convinced myself. That's pretty bad. It's like a bullshitter tells a bullshit story so well that they believe their own bullshit. And that's me, because that movie was bad. But I convinced myself. I'm going to have to watch it again. And I apologize, because I actually lost the story I was looking for. And it was actually pretty good. There was a couple other ones. Yeah, I have them lined up, but I don't want to read those yet. So, yes, I told you about work and Stern. Stern actually got me. And I'm like literally scrolling through my stuff right now. They're talking about also on Movie Pilot. I'm going to open this up real quick. It's true about Goonies never say die, but this is the title, but they'll be living on through something even more epic than a sequel. I thought they said it was me at Goonies too. Hey, you guys, the awesome news is that Goonies are going to be rebooted into something that will have your inner child truffle shuffling with glee. The new bad news is it definitely won't be a form of a much desired Goonies 2. Well, that part's good. So I need not read anymore. My friend Matt, by the way, he actually went on vacation. I forget exactly where, but he actually had taken pictures of the house that the Goonies was shot at. My friend Matt. I wish I could have him on, and he would be like, he has some good stories to tell you. So, but yeah, he actually visited that house. I guess it still draws crowds today. But, oh God, this is really bad. Anyway, I'm reading on about this Goonies thing. It looks like they're going to do, it says, we're going to do an off-Broadway. Do you know what immersion theater is? No, I don't actually. Where there's no seats, the venue is you go into a warehouse and there's something happening in that warehouse, and that's the play you're come to see. Only you become part of it, and you travel through with actors. It's very popular now. We're doing one on the Goonies, and it will take another year or so, but it's going to be wonderful. So they're going to do a special type of off-Broadway thing with Goonies. It kind of sounds interesting, but I'm not very convinced. I don't know what else to say. And I did not find what I was looking for. Oh, this was pretty interesting. I did find what I was looking for, but I forgot about this story, and was in the Norristown Times-Herald. This was yesterday. And it says, nurses union to rally in front of Eagleville Hospital. Now, most people don't know what Eagleville Hospital is. It's actually some type of mental health facility. And it looks like I'll try to read it, but it looks like the nurses are going to be picketing and striking outside of the mental state, this mental state facility, so to speak. So it says, Norristown, state lawmakers and the union members will rally outside of the Eagleville Hospital on Tuesday, which was yesterday now, after to condemn the alleged illegal practices the hospital has taken against its nurses while they were preparing to unionize. This Labor Day, the dedicated nurses and mental health techs at the Eagleville Hospital are demonstrating how critical it is for employees to have strong voices on their job, a strong voice on their job, said Bill Cruz, Executive Director of Pennsylvania Staff Nurses and Practitioners. In a press release announced the rally, we are grateful that the political leaders such as the state senator, Dylan Leach, and Senator candidate Katie McGinney are proud to stand with the Eagleville Hospital employees and denounce the illegal behaviors by the hospital. This is a little bit lengthy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the thing is, you're talking about a mental state facility, and if your nurses are, basically, I mean, I understand that you need to stand up for your rights, but you are talking about a mental state facility, and if that falls apart, the foundation of that, how are these patients going to react to that? Do you ever think about that? I mean, you take these jobs but you go into that, because I actually went to college originally to become a mental health technician myself, even though I had a laundry list of my own problems. But the point is, though, you go in there expecting to make literally no money. You're making like $10 an hour to do those jobs, and it's very stressful. I mean, the burnout rate is just horrendous on those. It's high. I shouldn't say horrendous. I'm just going to say it's high. So you go in thinking that. So you know it's a very stressful job, but then now all of a sudden you got to say, hey, I'm not being treated fairly. So I just have to play the devil's advocate, because, you're worried about unionizing the place, but you're working for a job that most people, it's really hard to get employees, and you're just going to make it that much more difficult. Because you're going to make it difficult on these places that really they can't afford to pay that well. Because if it's a government-run place, you're not, they're already not getting that much money. You're unionizing it, to try to get. Probably when I hear union, I'm holding my hand up to my ear. I'm thinking, okay, you're actually asking, you want to get more money, and you're working a state job with mental health people. So, I mean, with people with mental illness. So, are you thinking in their behalf or your own? It sounds like you're thinking about yourself, not about these people in the mental health facilities. I mean, the patients. So I can't say much about that. Trust me, and I'm talking from the other side of the fence. I'm talking from the person that was one of these people in these hospitals. If I had to worry about, wait a minute, who's going to be helping me with my problems because I'm in this place, a mental health facility, because you're too worried about you're not making enough money or not getting treated fairly. Well, don't take the job. Give it to somebody else who really is more compassionate towards the people that are in these facilities. If you're only going to think about yourself, please get out of it right now. Okay, I'm not going to go any further, but there was I thought there was a story attached. There is not. And I put it on my Facebook page. This is the one I was looking for the longest time. It was BillO'Reilly.com. And it was a story. It says, it's a video, though, so I'm not going to play, but it says, illegals kill 17-year-old in Virginia. Three illegal immigrants have been charged with murdering a high school student as he was waiting for the school bus. Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, come on. There's no problem with illegals. You got 3 illegals who killed a kid waiting for the school bus, and school just started up like last week before Labor Day. So, and there's no problem with this. I mean, that's the way not with that story. I'm sure there is an issue with that story, but that's the way, why we need to enforce the border patrol in, the border in our country going from South America to to the United States. It is a fucking issue. If you got people getting killed now, teenagers, for no good reason, yeah, you gotta kind of change that situation. That's something. It shouldn't just be me. So I'm trying to look to see if there's anything else, because you know what, I signed off yesterday and there was some stuff that I wish I would have read. Yeah, and there was that whole thing about Halloween returns. I really have I've lost all interest in that, folks. And before I leave, I'll pause it for a minute, and then I'll come back and just do my plug for Matt, my friend Matt. Oh, okay, here's a pretty cool thing I found. I didn't realize this. Daily Mail actually had something about the Batmobile, the original one the one from Bruce. Oh, what is it? I was going to say Bruce Wayne. Yeah, really. Adam West. And it says, Holy Barracuda, the original Batmobile goes up for sale for $4 million in an Arizona auction. That particular car, I heard they had a lot of problems with on set. It had major issues. But this is the actual real deal, the one that was used on the TV show. The futuristic vehicle was constructed in just 3 weeks for the TV show. The Batmobile was inspired by the Ford-made concept car the Lincoln Fura, or it looks like Fura. So I think, yeah, but that car had a lot of problems from what I remember hearing. In the show, it was equipped with rockets, oil slicks, and other gadgets. Actor Adam West played the Cape Crusader and used the Batmobile when it worked. It goes up for auction in Arizona, by the way. There's some pictures and video. Very cool looking. But that would be one big fucking toy for anybody, because I heard that thing, again, had major, major issues. And plus, you would probably be afraid to put too many miles on it, because if you did, you're just going to basically devalue it, because I'm sure it wasn't used that much besides on set. Sorry. Really hot. Sorry, I really got distracted, too. There was a story, it's on Daily Mail, and it's basically on Katy Perry. She looks really hot. It says, quite the handful. Katy Perry showcases her assets in plunging black gown as she imprints her palms in concrete at Jeremy Scott's premiere. She's actually got her handprints. I like to get her boob prints because they're showing those off. At the Chinese Theater IMAX. Yeah, so she made it big. When you get that done, that is really cool. That's going on my Facebook page. So, oh my God, she is incredible looking. Sorry, I'm just going to be going off on that. I'm going to have to take a cold masturbation after that. I had a story on masturbation thing that was really funny. It was on cucumbers. So I can't say it actually was really funny because I never read it. I looked funny. How's that? But I'm going to see. That one would be easy one to dig up because it has a picture of a big cucumber, too. It's closer to the top, too. Actually, it was funny. My friend Todd sent it to me. It was from this guy, Tom Atkins. And he has a photo, and it looks really fucking cool. It's an actual speed racer car. And he put underneath this guy, Tom Atkins, he says, finally, a solution to idiot drivers out there. And it is basically identical to the one you would see in the cartoon, but this is a real deal. This is a real car. and it's the speed racer car, and it's got these two saw blades coming out of the front, and it's really cool looking, though. So I had to mention that. Now I got to look for the one on the cucumber, though. I thought it'd be easier. Okay, yeah. Masturbators cause cucumber recall in California. That was on this website called stopmasturbation.org. Maybe I should just read the little caption, but just in case. Our friends at Fox News have reported on a salmonella outbreak that has caused the recall of cucumbers in California. While it is true there has been a mass recall of the unfortunately shaped... Okay, so I do have to open it up. Sorry about that. Yeah, our friends at Fox reported the salmonella outbreak has caused a recall on the cucumbers in California. Why it's true, they're... Unfortunately, I'm trying to figure out where it cut off, because I was just reading a little caption. Actually, cause of the concern. Cucumbers are the number one problem vegetable for female masturbation, explains face scientist Brother Werner Crawford. Many people likely assume things like carrots and bananas are bad food items that lead to masturbation, but our biggest battle is with cucumbers. Now, this is on that Stop Masturbation. Yeah, it's a gag page, I think. According to Brother Crawford, female masturbators seek out the largest and most firm cucumbers possible and then defile the vegetable by sending it on a journey into the depths of their sin caves. Well, I would love to go into sin caves, depending on who it was. While objectable, I'm sorry about that. Cucumbers are used for self-rape in the home. Are typically discarded, or in other cases, eventually consumed by the unclear family members of the masturbator. Adds Brother Crawford. The real problem begins when more fertile masturbators use cucumbers found at the farmer's market or grocery stores and then return the rancid vegetable to the shelves after it has been after they have ruined it. Could you imagine that? Some woman putting up her hey nanny nanny up her twat, a freaking cucumber, and then when she's done with it, return it to the stores? That is pretty sick, actually. To some, the other people would probably want to really eat it then, depending on who it was. Hey, why does this taste fishy? I know, that was really bad of me. Brother Crawford and his team believe the recent problems in California are the results of the rash of public masturbation incidents in the past few weeks. There was actually a story my friend sent me on some guy who got caught masturbating somewhere. Obviously, if people ingest cucumbers that are coated in the diseased residual from a self-rapist sin caves, well, they're gone to catch masturbation disease even if they don't masturbate, warns Brother Crawford. This could be an epic that sweeps the entire nation if we are not careful. I can't stress enough how important it is for lesser genders to stop using cucumbers to self-rape. Pickled cucumbers, also sometimes known as pickles, are not part of the recall because, as Brother Crawford states, they, meaning pickles, are too limp to give even a novice self-rapist the desired amount of sinful pleasures. So, pickles are on the safe side. It is probably best to avoid cucumbers until the entire mess blows over. No puns intended. Concludes Brother Crawford. You never know where that object shaped like that has been. Yes, I really read that horrendously. But that was on masturbation.com. There's a few people I'd like to put a cucumber up. Actually, I'd like to put my cucumber. What actually would be a cucumber? It'd be a tiny thing. I was going to see if I can find that, folks. It was really funny. This friend of mine sent me this thing on this guy who got caught masturbating. And then I'll probably just do a pause and see if I can find my friend Matt, who's a different person, and maybe just give him a short plug. Maybe my friend it was my friend Todd who sent me the one on the guy got caught masturbating. It might have actually been a private message, so if it is, it's going to be more difficult. I think it was. Oh, actually, there was another one. This one's funny on the line of women in their vaginas. This was on Fox 43. Thank you, Todd. Texas woman with loaded pistol in vagina charged with unlawful carry. I made a joke, and it was like, why? That's a loaded pussy cat. It makes no sense. This was in Waco, Texas. A Texas woman is facing charges after officers found a loaded pistol in her vagina during a traffic stop, according to police press release. Around 11 p.m. Monday, Waco police stopped a vehicle for a traffic violation. During the stop, officers discovered the driver of the vehicle, Gabriel. It's a woman, though, so I might be saying her name wrong. Gabrielle Garcia, 30, had a 2.7 grams of methamphetamines under her seat. Officers also found a 29.5 grams of meth in her purse of the female passenger, Ashley Cecilia Cassandra, 31. So there was two people in the car. This girl named Gabrielle Garcia and this other girl named Ashley Cecilia Cassandra. Anyway, it says, while Cassandra looks like Cassandra, but it actually looks like Cassandra, was being transported to jail on drug charges, she told an officer she had a gun in her vagina. The female officer searched the suspect and found a loaded Smith & Wesson 22 caliber pistol inside the suspect's vagina. That's crazy. It was a safety concern for the victim who had loaded a firearm inside her body, Waco Police Sergeant W. Patrick Swanston told the Waco Tribune Herald. Depending on the number of factors, the gun could have gone off by body movements and compression of the trigger. Cassandra was also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. What a place to hide a weapon, though. A 22 caliber, a 22 revolver or whatever in her vagina. That's too much. And so sorry. I was trying to look for that one on the guy who got caught masturbating, but I think that might again been. Let me see if it's on my friend Todd's page real quick. I will do my plug, and I will call it a night because it's after 4. So, okay, yeah. My friend Todd's got some pretty funny stories on his page, but yeah, I guess he might have sent it as a private message. I thought it was just funny, but I don't want to keep on pausing tonight either. So, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I can't find it now, but he did send me. It was some guy who got caught for masturbating, and I have no clue what happened to it. So, I wish I could have read it. Oh, there was a funny story my friend Todd did send me, by the way, and it was pretty disgusting, too. Uprocks.com, this guy's story about his roommate having sex with the worst ending imaginable. So, I'm not going to go through reading and destroying the story, but the gist of the story was this guy overhears his roommate. His roommate brings home some girl. And then the guy starts basically having sex with this girl he brought home in his room. So the roommate, the main guy talking about this, said, yeah, I normally don't do this, but it got so loud with her like moaning and him like getting into it. This guy said, well, I started masturbating while listening through the wall of this guy banging this chick. He said something on the lines of definitive wall banging as well. Basically he really got into it. So he basically finished himself listening to his roommate basically having sex with this girl. Well, he finds out at the very end of this little segment of this story, this is a true story, by the way, on Uproxx, that the woman or the girl he was having sex with this roommate of his was his kid's sister. And it was like, okay, that just really made him feel disgusting afterwards. He was like, okay, I just masturbated to listen to my roommate having sex with some woman, which he didn't know that this woman was actually his kid's sister. So how do you like that story? That was pretty gross, but actually definitely entertaining. Yeah, you know what? I'm really sorry because I'm going to have to do a little break anyway. I was hoping to find this story. He's got the picture up of this guy. He's got this really weird look, this man who got caught masturbating, and I can't remember where. So, give me a moment to pause, and I just wanted to actually find my friend Matt's thing, and I'll be back.
You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
All right, hey, this is Walter on iWalter. Welcome back to my last segment of the show. I actually got to head to bed. It's like 4:23 in the morning. Yeah, I can't find this article on this masturbation guy get caught masturbating. I'm surprised I haven't got caught masturbating. Honestly, you know what? I think this is a guilty... No, I don't think that's the right word. Yeah, there was one time we went to Monco because my friend Dave just contacted me. Really nice guy. He does look just as good as he did back when I knew him at Monco. That was like 20 some years ago now. He's 43. Dave, I hope I got that right. In case you listen on one of my other shows. He wrote me this letter, though, and it was really cool because I made a couple mistakes. And, yeah, I definitely want to have Dave on the show. Just let him know. And Matt. And some other people. I was going to get this guy who did Agony, this movie Agony. Another friend. He wanted me to do an interview with him, and I still... Ryan, I didn't forget about you, Ryan. I want to do a segment on you, too. But I want to give those guys plugs before ending my show, because that was really cool. He was just touching base with me. But, yeah, me and, before I go into Dave even, yeah, there was one time originally went to college for being an MHT. I mentioned that earlier. Then I changed my major into communications. Well, our communications department back in the day at Monco, was called the fitness center. Well, that was bad for me because we had these women that were girls that were working out below us, like below the communications department. They wore leotards, they wore spandex. There was one girl, I remember in my one class one time, she had on ultra tight spandex back in that day. And it was so tight and so shiny, I swear the whole class I couldn't think of anything else about except her body. But anyway, she was probably coming from the fitness center that we had. I don't think it's there anymore in Monco. And I used to spend long nights there. And it was like, normally you wait till you get home to take care of business. But there were some really hot-looking girls that used to work out down in this fitness center. And it was like, I can't wait. And I was the only one in the building. And I remember going to the bathroom and taking care of business there. It was like, I can't go home and take care of business and come back because we used to have this system of trying to dodge the security people. That if they catch you, you get thrown out. So you would hide in the communications rooms, wait for them to do like their tours, and then go back to doing your editing and stuff. So yeah, we had a small window to do that in, and if you left the buildings, you were locked out anyway. So you didn't want to leave the building because the buildings were shut down otherwise. So, yeah, if you had to take care of business, that it was like you couldn't wait to get home, you would, find a way to do that too. And one time I did. But Dave was cool. I loved Dave when we were back at Monco. He was a really nice guy. He's still a very nice guy. But he definitely texted me tonight. He wants to do a show with me, and I definitely will. He said he could even Skype, but he doesn't live that far. So I could set something up with him and Matt. They could kind of go over their musical careers. Dave actually is really good, and he actually saw the movie of Unfriended. He said he didn't like it, so I'll go into discussion about that. I'm trying to just highlight what he wrote. I hope you don't mind, Dave. He basically just said, by the way, believe it or not, I never been a fan of the Smiths or Smashing Pumpkins. He thinks their music's crap. So hey, dude, you sound like them a little bit. But which is nothing wrong with that, because you have your own niche, and I really do like it. I was actually listening to one of Dave's on one of your new songs you had posted just yesterday. Yeah, I guess people were responding back. How can you not like the Smiths and everything he was saying? I'm trying to read what he wrote. More of it. Oh, okay, that's really cool. He says he's more of an Echo in the Bunnymen kind of guy, and that's actually really, really impressive, because Echo and the Bunnymen are really cool. They have some really good songs. I'm using really a lot, I know. Yeah, he's basically saying he's surprised nobody has accused him of ripping off these bands. I'm actually influenced by such bands as Nirvana, the Pixies, Butthole Surfers, Sex Pistols, Sonic Youth, etc. So that's really cool. No, Dave, you definitely have your own style, so there's nothing wrong with that. I apologize. I had to kind of glance over your letter because I actually got to go to bed. He's a great-looking guy, very nice, folks, and he's definitely got his shit together. He really has some really good music. So anyway, I'm going to give these guys plugs once again, and the one is... First, I'm going to add him because he was nice enough to write me about listening to my show. Hey, anybody listen to my show, I appreciate that because I need the listeners. Listen to Dave, by the way. You can see him on Facebook, but look for Dave under Distant Neighbor because that's the name of his band or himself. But it's easier just to say his band. It's his now. Just because, I'm saying, okay, Dave's the one who's the creator and he's the whole setup, you got to remember people like Trent Reznor, for instance, that is only one person, folks. So, yeah, there's other people out there and Marcy and stuff like that. But, yeah, there's people that when you listen to them, it sounds like a whole setup, but it's actually only one person. Now, when they go out and tour, yeah, they hire... I guess, roadies or something to go along with them. Dave would have to do the same thing, I'm sure. But yeah, he's actually, he's the brains behind everything, and his stuff is really good. And I'm not just saying that, trust me, Dave. I would tell you if I didn't like it, because I got foot and mouth disease. I can't help it. It's good. It's really good. So, again, Distant Neighbor. And you can find him on SoundCloud or Facebook. He's actually on all the social media networks. And his album that he's working on is Baron von Wasteland, Antarctica. So I hope I said that right. I'm going to have Dave on. So I got that one, that plug. And I'm going to, once again, hopefully they fix this for Matt. There were some issues with his page. Woman did an incredible job. He got this woman on the West Coast to make his new page. And it's called... SkypeBasedLessonsOnline.com, and it's really cool looking. Matt's another one. I don't recommend people that are crap. I recommend people that are good. Just letting you know that. Okay, they didn't fix that. Matt, they didn't fix your site yet. The woman hasn't fixed it yet, but that's fine. She did a really good job otherwise. It says powered by Blue Zoo Labs, but Matt paid some good money, and this one is really impressive. But he will do, let me see what it says, contact bass guitar. He does more than bass guitar, but I think bass guitar is just something he could actually do online on Skype with you. I'm sure if you contacted Matt for certain other things, he would try to work something out and actually try to help you learn, teach you some lessons. But these would be Skype lessons. So again, if you're in Canada, you're in South America, you're in Italy, Matt could catch you on and actually set up one-on-ones or maybe something like give you some lessons through Skype lessons. They're not that expensive. I don't want to name any prices because he really doesn't have any, but he will. I know from the past his prices are really reasonable because he tries to be very competitive and basically not try to rip people off. So that's on Music Teacher Guy, but this is his Skype-based lessonsonline.com. Now, you can put under Google Music Teacher Guy, and you'll most likely get Matt's other pages. Bass is what he's going for on Skype at this point, I guess, but I'm sure that he could probably view encouraged him. I'm sure, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Matt. I'm sure you could actually do more than just bass. I'm sure you could probably help people out on a keyboard because Matt's very good with keyboards too. And I mean, right now, this is going to be just Matt, I assume, doing this, but I think if it did pretty well, he would go from bass to other strings, and I'm sure he's very good on keyboard, so I'm just throwing that plug out for Matt. And remember, Dave also, I mentioned, he's got some really cool music. Please listen to it, folks, because it's really good. It's really, really cool. So, and both these guys, they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into what they do. I'm trying to do it right now with my podcast. I'd prefer to do film work again of some sort, even though it's this video. But that's where my passion lies. But these guys are very serious about music, both Dave and Matt, two friends of mine. And I will try to remember to... if you look at actually, because I'm not sure, it's so late, I might not have time, but check my Labor Day show, and I did put links for both Matt and my friend Dave on there, college buddies and friends. So check out their links. If I can, I'll try to repost those too. It shouldn't take too long. But everyone, have a good morning on this Wednesday at almost 5 o'clock, a half an hour, thank God. I'm going to keep it that way. And have a good one on this Hump Day.